Este es el de micro. Bueno, ¿qué me pasa estas cosas? Tal vez si ponemos default aquí. Fuera. Si ponemos default, a lo mejor es otra cosa. Vale, a ver si viene Carlos en serio. Sí, es un fondo de español. Vale, ok, estamos en live. Ok, you just send me that. Oh, nice. Microphone with but the sound card is used by this export. Anyway, we don't know how to use that sound card. Chico.
very basic almost, but I'm math addicted now, and I don't remember anymore how to use Windows. I know it sounds very stupid, like you know, like a boomer, but I know.
I have the same thing because.
Hola, hola, hola. Ok. Vale, el segundo es el del PC, ¿vale? Vale, vamos a ver, micro de mano. Espérate. Ahora vamos a hacer una cosa. Ahora se va a escuchar. Vale, hemos de estar seguros de que solo hay un micro conectado. No quiero que vuelva a pasar esto.
Sí, que no esté el de normal del ordenador. Aquí, no sé si puedo quitar el micro.
Pero se escucha muy bajo. Hola, 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 hola. ¿Qué es esto? 80. No sé lo que es, pero bueno. Hola, hola. Hola, hola, hola.
Ah, mejor.
Sí. Vamos a dejar pasar. Dejamos aquí. Y ya está, este creo que no hace falta. Así. Vale, pues ya estaría. Le voy a decir que hable un poco pegadito al micro. Es que no hay forma de subir el volumen, ¿no? Porque aquí está a tope. Está a tope. Hola, 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 hola. No. Ah, tal vez el volumen de la tele está bajo y por eso escucha.
También. Si quieres.
Hola, 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 hola. Perfecto. Okay, what? Oh, es francés kind of church. You have to pray.
Claro, también es que con el eco que hay aquí y todo es un poco bravo.
Ah, ya. Hay mucho eco. Okay, so everything is ready. Vamos a decirle a Alejandro, que está todo listo. And we can start. That's recorded, by the way.
Suerte que no hay mucha gente viéndolo.
Ahora hay 30.000 personas. Alright, I'm going to open the other one as well. And then vamos a mutear esto y vamos a obviamente cambiar el título porque no estamos en Nubia. ¿Te acuerdas cómo era?
Esto es
Conferència
Internacional 2023.
Internacional 2023 IMMENSIVA.
Sí.
IMMENSIVA. Esto no es Nubia. Opa. Y el flyer también va a ser importante. Víctor Segura. Víctor Blanquet, perdona. El flyer aquí. Vamos a ponerlo en la miniatura. Y ya está. Holy shit. Paint. Porque no va a dejar. Windows 11, tío. Pixels. Vamos a poner porcentaje un 10%. Vale. Hay que tener paciencia, para estas cosas hay que tener paciencia. Guardar como. Downloads. ¿Cómo?
Se lea todo.
Bueno, no pasa nada, está guardado, o eso espero. Change. Perfecto. Y aquí vamos a poner www.immensiva.net era, ¿no? Sí.
.com.
Vale. Cagaste. Ok. Ahí está bien. Ok. Save. Vamos a... Puedes probar a ver si va bien desde el móvil. Hey Lisa, could you check if it's working in the mobile phone? The Sproncea. Yeah, I can try to do it. Yeah, sure. Vale, Alejandro, estamos preparados, ¿eh? Cuando queráis.
Yes, we are waiting someone from Eurecat.
¿Cómo es el YouTube? Es Bronceda.
That's why
Lisa. I will put Renata as well. ¿Cómo? Y Víctor también.
yes, we have that. Yes.
Alright.
¿Cómo se llama el canal?
Al canal. Se llama Sproncea 4218. Pero bueno.
Sí, vamos a empezar.
Control L. Nice.
Send me the flyer
Of course.
like this flyer.
Yeah, I can send you now.
Oh, thank you. This one. I think that's the flyer.
Yeah, this one, right? But do you need Catalan or English?
You can send me both.
Both, of course. I can resend you the mail.
It is Catalan?
Yeah, it's Catalan.
Okay.
Okay.
Oye, tenemos un problema porque el 5G que no nos funciona y lo necesitamos por el tema de nosotros hacemos muchas cosas
Forward.
cuando conferencias con captura volumétrica. Oye, no funciona. Venga, vamos a ver. Mira, hay que adaptar este pliego para no sé qué. Ahí me pongo. Yo vengo del mundo de la realidad virtual desde hace ya aproximadamente 10 años. Entonces, lógicamente, hice un proceso de realidad virtual. Como todos, a mí
Loading.
esas dos áreas de tecnología son las que me han interesado muchísimo siempre. Y he trabajado en la tecnológica y en la administración pública y queremos hacer una apuesta por
Okay.
la ayuda a
Okay, done.
Okay, it's arriving. Wait, minute.
Podemos intentar ir ayudando a la ciudadanía, a la administración pública, a las empresas, y tenemos la suerte de que trabajamos codo con codo con la policía militar de todo. Y la parte técnica ellos nos ayudan muchísimo, por ejemplo, con IA, muchísima más velocidad, claro, es fantástico. Y esto es lo que me dedico, básicamente, intentar acercar la tecnología, sobre todo, están encargados de acercar las empresas y también a la generación de intentar generar empresas, talento, pero es duro de narices.
No, porque si no vas a crear como una parte de la sociedad de la que no se da cuenta, ¿no? Porque el problema es también de generación. Y hay unas que están, pero otras que están fuera de todo el desarrollo.
El gran reto es que las personas, hay exactamente las personas que deciden por esta decisión. Si no, ya pueden hacer lo que tú quieras, no va a funcionar nada. Si sale de ellos es fantástico, entonces sabes que lo tienes todo de cara para poder hacer trabajos, pero si no, hay que dar la
Eso es también que el COVID aceleró esto de que quizás tuvieses que esperar más años. Porque al final hay una parte también que tuvieron que ser también, ¿no? Las universidades también están. Esto también desde siempre se ve cuando primero de ciencia, también había diferencia entre los que inician años, pero generalmente ahí estaban más adelante y también tenían un sector de tecnología, parte pública, política, financiada ya, ¿ves? De la lab, porque era como desarrollo de la, no sabemos si es la producción industrial, pero era como desarrollo también económico, social y todo. Pero Grecia, Italia, España, pero eso no está. Es algo en una muy más tradicional, ¿no? También todos esos.
Yo me voy ahora, este domingo me voy una semana a Finlandia a ver instituciones similares, sobre todo públicas, cómo trabajan el acercar la tecnología, en este caso el sector audiovisual, sobre todo al talento de las empresas finlandesas, no a las grandes empresas, no. Cómo generan negocio local. Eso me interesa muchísimo, la verdad.
No, pero ya estaba, yo me recuerdo, yo estuve en Finlandia en 2005, bueno, la residencia y ya desde allá había ya una relación entre privado y universidad privada. todo lo que era innovación, lo que... Entonces, eso también era el marco de la comunidad, era más fuerte. Entonces, las partes más de los proyectos estaban financiando directamente el ministerio, la parte en la política y en la cultura. O en Italia también hay deberes los más grandes que son siempre ahí, pero toda la parte de la sociedad está y entonces hay una parte que está muy fuerte, es muy importante.
No dar oportunidades.
No, y después puede generar, porque al final puede generar más dinero también y todo, más los pueblos, las partes son más pequeñas. Porque también hay ahora un movimiento que se está dejando la ciudad y todo. Entonces, todo esto hay un poco, que ser un poco visionario. Entonces, pienso que nosotros tenemos una más importancia a eso, como los Estados Unidos, de ser visionario. Una confianza más a la idea también.
También te digo una cosa, yo soy muy radical en esto, que hay que dar oportunidades a todo el mundo, pero para esto necesitas.
Sí, no,
poco que no, exacto. Pero imagina, si tú...
No, yo pienso que el arte, eso que parece, que el arte, ya no tiene dinero es una tontería. Porque la calidad de cada... También porque debes dar el tiempo, ser el artista, tener tiempo a desarrollar su proyecto, ¿no? Y esto, ¿qué hace? Como que
Claro, no
tienes que
puedes
saber. Y por eso te digo que en Francia, yo hice un proyecto con el Ministerio de la Cultura, que era granítico, que durante un año era como una beca de cultural, de todo, pero era con los artistas. Entonces, tú podías irte en diferentes países y la única cosa que tenías que hacer durante un año era hacer investigación. Y no tenías ni de investigación, ni de una beca, ni de un arte, ni nada. Tenía tu salario, te pagaban.
Muchas gracias.
Tú en esto... Hola. Hola.
Esta escritora ya es una de las fundadoras de Conferència, Sabina.
Yo pienso que tu cara no quiere decir, ¿no?
Y el Alex es de Neápolis, que no sé si coneixes l'agència de Vilanova.
Sí.
Y...
Ah,
sí. Xavi és d'Artificia. Y Eleonora, que es la nuestra convidada internacional, porque ella ve de la Universitat de Conferència y ahora vam presentar un projecte Erasmus que pensem que pot sortir.
Crossfingers.
Un projecte sobre també interdisciplinaritat i innovació. I no res, i ara vindran també els artistes perquè ara, bueno, si vols que mostrem una mica. Gràcies. Bueno, aquí hem ficat un look amb tots els projectes que hem fet d'IMMENSIVA els darrers anys. Sembla que tot un projecte sobre el viatge l'experiència de l'amor. Però bueno, tenim un
Espacio de actividad, una seguridad para poder
a Milà, al MIT,
sí,
que és
vosotros sí, era. Vosotros estáis adelante. Pero vosotros también hay.
i aquí estem posant una entrevista.
Sí, pero aquí era nuevo para
Sí, evidentment nosaltres tenim relacionat, després ho podem mostrar. I dos naus és aquesta, bueno, aquesta és per fer exposicions, ja que també tenim un espai de treball, i aquesta és la sala principal d'exposicions. I ara el que he fet és, bueno, ara mostrarà una demostració.
Como seres
la solución no es
després de dinar, però farem també una demo, petita demo.
from TikTok production. And I have no time, so I try to do it with Iroscat. Open to understand about research behind the algorithm of learning. And you know, preparing all this documentation was really tough. Shit. I know for the next one. We will talk later. Yeah. Well, no, no, it's not about 20. Yeah, yeah. I don't listen anything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good to know.
Okay, perhaps we could start a little.
Aquí no les voltaje tan bastante.
Se nos quedaron hablando todos.
Home, és que ahir vaig menjar em sembla curiós que tu no col·laboris amb la Mari Banjol, però amb la secretària del DIM els objectius. Això... És que això és el que demana.
Okay. Check. Okay, so we are in live streaming, okay? Then I will cut the previous part, but
What is the image? It's
here, is
here.
it okay? All right. Okay, all yours. Sorry, try to speak in the microphone a little bit
Okay.
to cap
Can I
the
say?
audio. If not, don't worry.
Okay.
No, I'll do a short presentation.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Welcome, benvinguts. Avui comencem el primer dia de la conferència immensiva, que serà avui, i el segon dia ho farem al setembre, que també organitzem una gran exposició de projectes immersius, interactius i amb molt alta implicació d'impacte social i gamificació. I will speak in between Catalan and English.
Yes.
Yes, today the objective of this conference is to have professionals and artists that will talk about different issues and opportunities to create immersive and interactive projects, and thinking about the social impact and how we could, let's say, cooperate all together, because finally I think it's very important that artists know how are working the institutions, and the institutions know what are the artists' needs and artists' projects, what is the direction. And just to introduce IMMENSIVA, IMMENSIVA is a platform of Espronceda. We started 4 years ago. We started with an international residency, and after also this is the fourth year we organize a festival that includes not only the residency but also other events that are exhibitions, that are also meetings, etc. And this year the program is the residency that we did in March, the conference that we will do today and also in September, and a big exhibition that we want to show the most experimental in immersive and interactive projects. That will be the second part of September. And now I'm very proud and I thank you very much that we have a guest from University of Firenze, Eleonora D'Asensi. She kindly traveled from Malaga because now she's doing a PhD stage in Malaga, and she will tell us about immersive storytelling.
Yeah.
Please, Eleonora.
Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind presentation. So, nice to meet you, pleasure to meet you. So I just try to be synthetic, which is not very easy, you know, where I'm going to investigate in a project, but I'll try as much as possible. And the idea is to talk about the immersive storytelling and the transformative design, which is the major part of this aspect. So try to make a mark through a non-conventional perspective. So first of all, who am I? So it's not just a real philosophical question, just from a boring part. I'm an architect. So my background is actually in architecture, and after this period, I have the opportunity to win a scholarship and try to start researching at the University of New South Wales with a pre-PhD, and then I start a PhD at the Design Sustainability Lab of the University of Florence. So yes, I'm investigating through a PhD, but what is important for myself is the fact that I also belong to the Design Sustainability Lab, so I work for them, and I think this is very important. So I'm not, investigating or researching from my room, but what is important for me is to talk with other people. So in this case, at the Design Sustainability Lab, we are in 15, which is a quite huge number for one professor, as you can imagine. But it's important to be as much as possible because the Design Sustainability Lab is working on sustainability in its whole. So to be honest, the term sustainability is so huge and means everything and nothing. But my professor started working in this field like 30 years ago, so a lot of time. And he thinks that sustainability means to be open to the challenges that we have from environmental, social, cultural, and economic point of view. And it's important to work directly with companies, administration, territories, not just from an academic point of view. It's important for sure. Somehow I'm academic, but we need to talk with also all the stakeholders that we have. And we are working in these three main directions. So the first one is education. So we directly work with students and try to stimulate their conscious somehow with the sustainability. So we have machines, but especially we have a mindset that help them to try to design with sustainability in mind, this word sustainability. We are doing research, that's the second part, and research is very broad, so it could be very cultural and artistic somehow. So for example, in this case, we are reusing the fish net, the sea nets, or could be something that is more related with companies. So we actually, to be honest, we work a lot with companies because we really try to stimulate them to change their behavior somehow, which is not very easy, to be honest, but we are trying to do that. This is one of the projects that we do with them. This is called Colux project. It's a co-design project that has been funded by the Tuscany region. And in this case, the idea is to try to explore the potential of new technologies for have a participatory session for designing, especially this project is actually has been funded before the COVID, but has great importance because when it started during the pandemic, And we think that was important to figure out what the pandemic is trying to say to us. So the fact that sometimes we design without taking into account the stakeholder point of view in all the senses. So also try to design together is a starting point. And for doing that, we need to eliminate the barriers that we have, geographical barriers, social barriers, and language barriers. In this case, the immersion can definitely help people to understand what is happening with a project. And to be honest, the language barrier are not just between clients and designers, for example, but are also between architects and engineers, or architects and designer and engineers. You know, it's a kind of mix. And I have a video just to show you. I have actually 3 videos. Let's see if I'm able to show you. There we go. This is the first one. It's just to show you our starting point. That's because this project is actually more technical. So it's not real artistical. It's, you know, we see that we need to eliminate this barrier, and we start working in this direction. But what is important is the fact that we make a survey at the end through interviews, but also through the study of bioparameters, so through neurodesign, to try to understand what happens with people with virtual reality. And we realized that no one is looking for the reality. So the thing is, when you use virtual reality and use new digital technologies, you try to make the digital as much as similar to the reality. But this is what was not the main core of the people. So the important thing is to try to understand what's happening and the content that we are showing. The third part in which we are going is the dissemination, any kind of dissemination, so not just academic. And you can see from children. So we try to educate them to this kind of sustainability, and at the same time we are doing a lot of exhibitions, and I just show you this one, because this, as I say, we have different points to start. So the first one was the immersive aspect, and then this was the other one, which is not related to immersive technologies, but is important, and then you get why. This, I show you this video, was the starting point in this case. So the idea is to, is to understand that we are facing important challenges today. And we need to think about which direction we have to take somehow. Okay.
Hello, you are receiving this message because you are listed as an emergency. Come to the emergency location below. The emergency location is...
Estimating that 15 million deaths occurred globally due to the pandemic.
International public health emergency.
Coronavirus pandemic. Climate change as a catastrophe.
A new feature, climate change. Chemical cocktail.
Immigration. Migrants.
Migrants. Migrants are
Of the globe.
So this exhibition has as the main scientific supervisor Professor Giuseppe Lotti, who is the scientific supervisor of the laboratory, and it has been made through with Professor Marco Marzeglia, Elisa Matteucci, Giulia Pistoresi, and me. And we think that what is important for us is to try to, reflect, to take time. And we say, do we have a solution? No, we don't. We have no idea, and we don't have any ultimate truth. So how can we manage? We don't know. It's probably bigger than us. So what we can try to do is try to trace some paths, like blue highways paths, so we are not sure if they work or not. 100% probably they're not sure. But we would like to help people to look with different eyes. That was the core of the exhibition and the dissemination. And we try to divide this aspect into 5 main paths. So the first one is breaking boundaries. So what we have learned through pandemic probably is the fact that we need to go beyond individualism and try to opening up to new collaboration and to be a real community. So we select projects that are related to this aspect and try to highlight the fact that we need to mix all those aspects and to not be, just thinking about ourselves and try to face these challenges in this way. But then we say, this is not enough, so we probably need to think about also the reciprocal altruism, because otherwise we still have the very old perspective of a human-centric design. We don't like this word, to be honest, because it seems that you are working just with human, and this is not good, obviously, as we can see. So we can understand the fact that we need to have a synesthetic vision that is able to put in relation all the living beings without having a not equilibrium relationship. Then we know the fact that we need to decolonize the imaginary, so just not to be technical, but try to put a kind of magical atmospheres to go beyond the technical, the more technical aspect, because when we need to make a change, we need probably to go beyond the scientific part. And then we have technology with purpose. So we know that. So we are in front of a digital transition. So we know that technological innovation is fundamental. But at the same time, what we need to understand is the fact that probably technology really needs to be used with purpose and not just because we have to, or because we are in 2023 and we have to be digital somehow. So we need to open up to new direction for research that try to put together content and technology. And finally, we have re-enchanting the world. So we think that what we try to figure out is how to look the world with different eyes. So really to try to have a deep thought about what is happening today and try to go beyond rationality and try to make people aware of what we are facing today. So what I'm doing here. So my PhD thesis, I'm a PhD candidate, as I say, so I'm young in the research. And my PhD thesis tried to reflect on the need of adopt this critical approach to the use of these technologies and try to put together those 2 aspects. So we see before the immersive project, and now we see the importance to narrate the complexity of our current challenges. And I think it could be great to try to merge and try to open up to new future. So it's hard to say what are the current challenges today. It's like the sustainability world. It's a very huge thing. But looking at the, for example, Erasmus Plus program, so what we can see is that we need to put together inclusion and diversity, digital transition, common values, civic engagement and participation, and last but not least, the environmental and the fight against climate change that we can somehow try to synthesize with sustainability in its whole. Let's say, to be honest, we really need probably, I don't know how many times to try to figure out the meaning of sustainability, but yeah, we don't have time to do it now. So we see the video before, so we know that we are facing important emergencies, but I'm talking about academic point of view, how we communicate them are usually very, very, connected with numbers that are for sure important, but at the same time, we lack a little bit of emotion. So people are understanding where we are, probably, but at the same time, they do not empathize with what is happening. So there are 2 different things. So communication could really needs emotional impact and feedback. So how can we try to stimulate this kind of empathy and try to overcome emotional apathy? So, and how can design, from my perspective, can try to contribute in this context? So we are living in an area that could be defined as complex. If we need to find a word, it's not easy, but according to Cerruti, we can say that complexity is the terms that can describe what we are living today. And try to, let's say, try to reduce this complexity or somehow try to live, probably it's better, with this complexity. We need connection with all of us and with the period that we are living. And that's because if you want somebody to change their mind, you have got to reach the heart. And that's, I think, it's the main aspect that we need to think about it. And design can help in this sense. So I think it's interesting that we start talking about transformative design. Transformative design can be defined as a design able to instill the positive behavioral change through the recombination of existing cultural norms and factors. So try to change our vision and to change our mind. And immersive storytelling can definitely help in this sense because we are not all empathic. We are not all, we are different. So there are people that really empathizes with other people or with specific situation, other not, and it's normal. So immersive can help to put ourselves in someone else's shoes in a strategic way, if we really think in a critical way and try to have an important content to show. It's important, as I said before, technology do not need to overcome the content, because otherwise that's the problem. That's why people do not like, for example, immersive technologies. Makes sense. So we need to engage with users by trying to awake this kind of sense of wonder and try to stimulate positive behavior. And for example, one of the thing that I think it's not really amazing of the immersive technology is the fact that you cannot see your body. And that's one of the main limits probably. But how can we use in a strategic way? So that's the negative aspect. How we can transform it in a positive aspect. So really try to use it with an interesting content and context and try to help people to put in someone else's shoes. So if I'm looking with a headset, I probably stimulate my imagination, I don't know how to say in English, and try to help the people that are not so empathic to face the current challenge. And thinking about, for example, migrants, so I can put someone else in migrant shoes. And it will be great, in my opinion, if you're not reproducing digitally the reality. But for example, we can use something that is technologically, from a technological point of view, less advanced, such as it's called 3D off. So we can use video, kind of cinema. So I'm not going to reproduce the reality through digital, but I'm going to show like a movie with 360 degrees and could somehow touch the emotional chord more. And we can call it transformative storytelling design, so as the ability to narrate the current values and challenges to generate positive long-term behavioral changes by awakening minds through the power of storytelling and making a mark through this empathetic narrative. And for doing that, we cannot do this by ourselves. I'm talking about design, but when I'm talking about design, I think it's important to put together different disciplines. And that's the project that we are working on with Alejandro. It's called Inside Act. The name is, requires the immersion, like the inside, the empathy, and the act that is more related to theater, and I'll show you why. So this kind of project, in fact, try to bring together design, for communication design, for the storytelling, as I said before, performing arts, social sciences, and digital technology. Try to change the point of view of people and try to go behind their personal imaginary. This project starts from a deep reflection about where we are going with the jobs. So I think this is very interesting because it's saying that till the end of 2025, new jobs are coming, especially in digital sector, and from 1.2 millions to 2.4 million new jobs will be created. And what is interesting is the fact that most of them are jobs that do not yet exist. So I think this is very interesting because we need to manage this aspect. From one point of view, it's a very interesting thing. From another perspective, it's quite scary. So we really need to manage this aspect. And these jobs that do not exist are strictly connected with the new technology, especially artificial intelligence, and immersive technologies. So why those 4 disciplines? But could be more than one. This was just the starting point. So technology because we need that, as I said before, we can use the immersive technologies in a critical way and try to stimulate the discussion of people. But technology must be positive. So according to Giuseppe Riva and Andrea Gaggioli, that's the main part. So we need to distinguish, to find out what positive technology means. Now we have social sciences, so we cannot talk about changing behavior without psychology or sociologists. So it's important to try to collaborate with them in order to understand what are the main aspects to be highlighted. And performing arts. Performing arts is quite strange somehow. I mean, you're used to, but from academic point of view, it sounds a little bit strange when you say that. Why performing art? They are usually, they are usually very far from technologies. But why we need that? Because, for example, from a theater perspective, we know that people really already try to put in someone else's shoes. So we probably do not need technology to do that. So try to collaborate all together and try to put our strengths point in order to understand how to move on. And design. Design, as I said before, is try to be the catalyst of this experience due to the fact that it is able to put together different disciplines. So the idea is to have a multidisciplinary approach and try to overcome this aspect. So this was the starting point, to have a multidisciplinary approach. But then we say, okay, if we have a multidisciplinary approach, it means that everyone is working by himself. So that's not the correct one. So let's try with the interdisciplinary approach. So we try to transfer the methods and we try to collaborate in order to make a new vision. Is that enough? Probably not. So we try to talk about an indisciplinary approach and transdisciplinary approach. It's a kind of chaos somehow, you can see from the picture. But at the same time, if we are able to collaborate and to really break the rules and break completely the boundaries, probably we can try to face the same complexity that we talked before. That's because the indisciplinary approach is try to be a place of convergence and turbulence in which this transformative design can really act. So I'm going to show you a video. I was not sure that's the final part. I'm going to conclude with this video. The thing is, we are still working on it, and it's in Italian, because this project idea has just been selected by the Italian Society of Design. So I'm happy and proud of that. We are working with Irene Fiesoli on this project. And we have to do this video, so in like few days. It's in Italian, but it's just 1.5 minutes. I hope you can understand something, but we can discuss later in case. cannot translate it. So the first time that I see a video, I don't like people that are talking in the meantime, but I translating if you want. So say we are facing challenges and emergencies that are unprecedented at the moment. I think the images clearly describe what is happening. But we are not able to see outside ourselves, to look up, to see with different eyes. What if we change our point of view, try to take new directions, and try to put in someone else's shoes? Also through immersive experiences, not just with, but also through. Those are the creative, performative arts, social sciences, design, and immersiveness, through experience to be shared. Now, I would like to add something. Where we are observers, but at the same time protagonists, in a non-conventional perspective, indisciplinary, transformative, to make a point, to make a sense, to generate changes. That's it. There we go. So I just would like to add something when I say shareable experience, is the fact that one of the reasons for which I think that probably Meta and all other technology do not really work so much is the fact that they try to make popular the immersive technologies in 1 second. Okay, we need time, and we do not need to do that by ourselves. So let's think about cinema. Before there was I'm not going to, but let's say we do not use Netflix straight away. Before we went to the cinema. So we need shareable experience. We need, to be with someone else, talk and have a discussion. If you go straight away and to go in an individual bubble, probably it's not the best thing. And we can also discuss about the fact that we are losing society at the same time. So we need to have experience to be shared with others, I think. So thank you for your attention.
Wonderful, Eleonora. Perhaps there are some questions from our guests.
I've got one. As I understood, you are trying to make or do this kind of highway in order to create a more sustainable world.
Yeah.
But we are in a nowadays we've got a huge problem. We need short-term solutions in order not to change the world, in order to make something that can help us a little bit. I don't know how to say in English, like un parche. I don't know how to say, when you wound yourself, you heal it and you put something. We need to do something like that. We need to heal a little bit. So, did you manage or think about including this kind of shorter things about talking about designing above all on architecture, like for example solar panels, this kind of paint with like my English is awful. Hongos? How do you say hongos in English? Mushroom is one of them. like this live paint that capture the CO2 and something like that. Do you think it's worth it to try to mix this? Because
absolutely.
Your work is in a mid and long term, no? In order to build something really big. But we need, I think, or not, what do you think about having these short-term actions that can help us a little bit to win some time?
So first of all, thank you for your question, and I totally agree. We work in both directions, with short-term and long-term direction. The only problem, so the thing is we need to wait, so we need time for sure in any case. The thing is the fact that if you have the tools that are changing in the meantime and so on, it's important, but before that you really need to educate. Because that's the main problem is the fact that we work with stakeholders, we work with a lot of companies. So they are looking for short-term solution because they care or because of greenwashing, for example. So you can give them the tools. But first of all, they need to really and deeply understand what I'm doing. And the second thing, you in any case need this kind of stimulation of awareness and really education. That's why we decide to work on this project. That's, yeah, for sure, we need more time. And we don't have. But at the same time, we don't have a solution. You know, when we show the exhibition, we say, okay, what we can do, you know, looking at the short term, but try to debate about this stuff. And we realize that the fact that we don't know. We don't really know. What we can try to do from our perspective, yeah, is try to educate children with events, for example, and and try to overcome the disciplines, breaking the boundaries, and try to educate stakeholders and companies that, to be honest, are the most difficult part to reach. We don't know if we are able to do that, but we need to try somehow. Yeah, but I agree. We need both of them. We need tools and we need conscience, I think.
I have also a question.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that you also like input and you talk about like education. That is actually one of the main points.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a question. The risk nowadays that too much could also be worse because actually now there is too much information about, you know, we have to save the world, we have to do that, we have to do that. And the people is tired because actually there is a gap between the action from high top and the action from, you know, the population and school. Because I like about education, so there is the school. There is also this gap between, you know, the urban and the rural. So the other part of this process, you know, so I think it's important to the awareness and for sure the artistic language or the using of each like tools is very helpful. But in that case, you need you have analyzing how you can get really, for sure it's interesting to put the shoes so that people can develop the awareness. But I don't think it's just enough to do the event, you know, just because if we do just the event, we can build a small group again. So we have also to broaden these borders, open the doors, you know, to institutions, to
Exactly.
school, other stakeholders. And so that's, and in which way, I mean, I was interested with your point of view that it's a very difficult process. We need, for sure, we need a lot of time. But we need also to reflect that we risk to have the opposite reaction of the people.
I totally agree. Once again, thank you for your feedback. And if you have any like really critical feedback for me, a gift at the moment, because we can really work. I think we really need to talk about this aspect all together because it's hard to find a solution somehow. And the thing is exactly what you are saying is the fact that we are, you know, we have all this data, all those information, and we are a little bit confused. And then we say, okay, so I'm going to do my part. And then you say, but I'm going to do my part, but what is happening with the top level, you know, with administration, society, and so on. And that was actually, I forgot to say, the really starting point, because yeah, we can educate children, we can do events, we can do exhibition, whatever. But what we really would like to do is to try to reach, from a bottom-up perspective, is try to reach the top. And it's not easy. We try to talk with municipalities, so we work with different municipalities in Italy, because yeah, it's easier for us. It's so hard, because you really need to break the language barrier. And you really need to change the mindset. So what we see that it works is this emotional aspect. So not talk about data. Yeah, just few data, just to be, that's incredible, but just to be credible, you need to add some data. Otherwise, yeah, this is just an emotional thing. Like, it's not serious like theater. Yeah, just not something that is not real. But we really need emotion, and it's not easy. And that's why we try to, to apply to European projects. The first one, because we need to survive, so we definitely need this kind of support. But the other thing is the fact that we really need to collaborate and to broaden networking as well, and try to reach the Bruxelles city just from a European perspective, step by step. And we don't know which is the best direction. If it's better to start from municipality and administration, or if it's better to start from a European, both try to make a combination of attacks, but it's not easy. It's not. Thank you for this reflection and insight.
No, thank you. I mean, I know that these are really easy to thinking also in a way, a new collaboration, new alliance, and there is a lot on the table, and that I think that something going to change. But from the art perspective and culture perspective, I think that today we have a very big responsibility.
Exactly.
Because they call us, like the art and the culture, to help, and to be like a kind of bridge between. So I think like to be visionary, we can also together find solution for sure.
Absolutely. Otherwise, we are like, as you said before, a small group, like an aristocratic group. We are talking about something that people do not understand. When I say people, I say like from the administration to countries to children to everything. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we have time after to discuss during the lunch. And now we have 3 sections. One is about innovation, another one is about how we promote and finance the project, and the final one is about social impact that we will manage by Dani, that came now. He's from Vienna de Lab. Hello, Dani. And I don't know, Aurea, we could switch perhaps if what time you need to leave the...
One.
Eh?
One.
1? Perhaps, Alex, you could...
I don't mind if you want to go...
Yes, perhaps we do first
minutes,
if you could want to do your presentation now, or just talking about this...
I think that we can talk because we are...
Yes, a few people, yeah. Yes.
I think that would be better to talk about this.
Yes, of course, of course.
Okay, my name is Gabriel, I'm the engineering director of the IAT Cultural Creativity Southwest. That is the region that covers Spain, Portugal, and the south of France. The IAT Cultural Creativity is a new company that belongs to the IAT, the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. It is one of the 9 knowledge and innovation communities that have been established by the IAT. The other are that come from other kind of sectors, I mean food, health, manufacturing, and so on and so on. And the 9th is about cultural creativity. So cultural creativity goes from heritage to tech, big tech, covering all the cultural and creative industries and sectors, and beyond and how the creativity can help to other sectors that are working with sustainability, with digital transformation, and other challenges that we face today. So this is more or less what we are doing. This year is the startup phase of the IAT Culture and Creativity. That means that we have half of the year that we don't have legal entity because we are trying to create the legal entities and so on. And we are establishing our first programs. In fact, you asked me about...
Really interesting ones.
You asked me about the first code that was released in March and has ended last week. So I will try to speak a little bit. And we have here in our CLC region, we have several stakeholders. One of them is Conferència, that we are very proud about this. And more or less, we are 6 CLCs, 6 regions within that covers all Europe. More or less, each of the regions has a specialty in order to say, okay, we would like to focus our efforts in some kind of sectors. In our case, that is sustainable development resultant plans and with the colleagues particularly, because we have two main focus. One of them is the audiovisual value chain, because the growth with a broader scope, right? And the other one is the relationship between these sustainability goals with other industries. I mean fashion, I mean textile, I mean others. Okay? How the design can help to this kind of industries to change about their presence. That's other thing. And in our case, I'm trying to push to have a special focus in intellectual capital. And then yeah, I know, because that issue, but very related with the new technologies and how we can use these technologies to protect, on one hand, I mean, smart IP and so on and so on. And on the other hand, how they affect, of course. So that's more or less what we are doing. In our case here in the CLC, we are designing a business plan, a work plan for the next coming years, and we are programming also and organizing something that is called European Creativity Days, that will be held in October around the old CLCs. In our case in Barcelona will be held in the 25th of October. So I have to send an email. Save the date, please. So I want to invite you to help us, to come, to share, to wherever you want it. During these days is the Barcelona Vision Week, so this is something that we select, thinking that we will have other initiatives in Barcelona, so that's very nice. Our CLC is located here in Barcelona, so this is an important thing because the Basque Country always asks me, would you like to come? No, you must do. Yeah, I will come and we will do a lot of things with Bilbao, of course, and the rest of the Basque Country. So this is something that we are trying to work with during this year. So we published our first call 2 months ago. All the knowledge and innovation committees, all the EATs, we have 3 main activities to cover. One is innovation projects, okay? The other one is educational programs, and the third one is startups creation. Okay? This is why the calls are focused on these 3 topics. So we have several calls, several programs, but more or less cover the 3 main tasks. So that's the thing. So if you have any questions about this, the first call was published with a budget of 10 million and a half. We have a contract with the EIT for 80 million during the next couple of years to invest in cultural creative industries in these kind of activities. Okay? So next year we will have another call, sure, and so on and so on. So now you have the first one. I will invite you to speak about the projects, to contact with the different members and so on, and to try to create this kind of ecosystem that is important for us. So we don't want to substitute anybody. We would like to add value to the things that are going on, in the sense that we would like to push a little bit the European scene and try to connect the dots between the different CLCs, the different stakeholders that you have, and the rest of the activities that are going on.
Thank you. I think what is quite important is my first question is because, you know, in the creative and cultural sector, the companies are very small or they are just like Daniel's representing, Cispara or the another lab that is a collective of artists, but also we had some project that is in collaboration with And the thing is, for them, it's quite difficult to make this connection with funding, with how to be aware of that. And what is good in this last call is it was open also for a small organization, for everybody. And I think perhaps because they have very interesting projects ready to go to market, but they don't have, let's say, the ability to move into the European funding, how to reach that. And I think your example is the perfect example, because they are doing a lot of effort trying to go to fairs. Perhaps you could explain a little.
No, just to explain very quickly, it is exactly like that. Being from non-profit cultural association, tend to create an SL, and then acknowledging there is also this social enterprise model, and then you don't know really how to access to support. Like when you go to the regular angel investor, or you go for an open call, and then so.
But you are a little lost. The thing is not this kind of calls. You could make a consortium with an institution like us, also with other more established institutions like Eurocad, and because this call was for 1 year product go to market. And that means that it's not for research. That means that the research of the project you did before is just you have something quite ready to go to the market, and how you suggest, and also because AEP is an agency that is asking also to have revenue, something back from the project. That means that you need to, let's say, demonstrate or say that your proposal will be successful because you think it's a market. And I think your case is a very good example, because they have many projects, but the project was with that. I think it's something that you just need this kind of support, but you don't know how to reach at this moment.
Yeah, thank you, Alejandro, in any case, because we have been exploring like different areas. Also, sometimes it depends on the subject of what you do. It's difficult to pitch it, or like for people to understand it. And if you work with new technology, sometimes unless you do a demo, it's something that is difficult to explain. So I can pitch to you my project, but then you would be like, okay, can I try? And then the logistics can change.
Yes, and also we have here another example. Here is as a platform that they will try to promote creativity and artificial intelligence. They produce some events, some projects, but also your organization is so small, and sometimes it's because perhaps your problem is you don't have enough team to manage all these applications and contacts. In fact, the open call was good, but was only 2 months. You need to be very ready to have the consortium. That means that means that.
This is not an excuse, because next
Yeah, but the thing you need to have this attitude of doing partnerships, and sometimes there are platforms like Xavi, Artificial. They have also people from the research center, the SIC, and the university, the UPC, but they are like collaborating, no? Part-time, and the thing is you don't have a real structure to, let's say, to go to do a good application for these kind of opportunities. And perhaps, I don't know, perhaps this kind of project needs also like training or something like that. I don't know.
several things. One of the things is, yes, we are focused on innovation and projects that are close to the market, because not we have other programs within the European Commission. I mean, Conferència that for research, and in our cases for international. That's one. Second point is that it is open because we know that this is our sector, so we know that children and the industries has this kind of initiatives with non-for-profit, with artists, and so on. So it's open to everybody. You don't have to be mediocre. If you are mediocre, you are welcome, but everybody is welcome. The second thing. So this is something that we are doing. The other thing is, okay, 2 months is not enough, but we will have another call next year. And the other thing is that we have these calls. This is a way of investment, but we will have also an investment plan. It's another thing. We are speaking with investors, VCs, and so on, to try to have a kind of investment plan to explain this kind of projects, to try to get some money that it's not that one from the government. That's another thing that we will have later as well.
Because in fact they are doing they are promoting several fairs, no? You go for if you could say the name of the fair, you go
I'm really interested.
Laval, do you know Laval in France, and what are the other names?
Yeah, I mean, but that's the irony, because even so, if you get to get well known in the project, you have some, recognition with awards and so on, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to survive at the end of the month. So that's what, yeah, it would be lovely to talk about.
It's an interesting publication was made from the European Parliament 5 years ago, or more, or 7 years ago. It was the change in the role of the art in society. And this book is about the artist became an entrepreneur. So their rules changing also, rules that could change in the art. So also the artist should we have these tools to be the entrepreneur of himself or herself, to be part of the society, because the demand of the society became come like art, the artists to help them. So that's also very interesting process that we have started several years ago. That still is very difficult because normally an artist is not an entrepreneur. Artist is just based on the idea, but you need somebody that writes the application. It's very difficult not to change.
Scientists as our
I have a question about the education. The education is from which point of view? The education for innovation or the education is from the pedagogical point of view? Because
both of them. Yeah. We have a program that is focused on soft skills, creativity, beyond everything, and the other one is more well-established education programs. We have both programs.
And the second question, I'm actually curious. Sometimes I have the impression there is a lot of confusion about the 3 words, about creativity, art, and culture. They are completely different, and they are also different fields. Because creativity is not part of the artist, culture is not part of the art. I mean, also the actors that they came in the game are completely different. They came from different points of view, from different fields. And I think that one challenge, I don't know, my point of view also, like beyond the field, that sometimes that if you take sometimes the communication is very difficult communication between artists and the cultural sector, because normally they deal with a different language and also about creativity. So I don't know what is your experience, if you experience some kind of not really conflict but confusion or
I'm really rare. Because my background is very rare, so I'm comfortable with this kind of discussions because always is the same in all the sectors.
You cannot say your background is rare and didn't mention anything about that. I deeply want to know what's your background.
No. I have to introduce myself, okay? I have been working for several years in a technology center that is called but I'm from Tarragona. I'm very proud. And I was there setting up a technology center focused on the food why they don't know why I'm doing it. So that's my background, more or less.
So you know, you have a very good knowledge about different behaviors from the people. I think that is also
I don't know
it's a kind of the
who I
ocean.
know. I
Or
don't know
maybe
who I
you know.
know. I don't know who I know, but I realized that I'm comfortable speaking about different technologies that doesn't have a relationship between them because I'm comfortable speaking about other technologies. For instance, at the same time about blockchain, because that's not common. This is why I think that my point of view is not I'm learning about the cultural interested right now. And I think that I feel like home because oh my god, this is something that I will do in the next coming year because I'm learning with you and about you. But I think that my background is not as common as the rest. As I know the industrial sector very well, and I know the other, and I think how they think. So I think that we have a lot of work to do in education, in introducing creativity to others to different children. So this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here because I think that we need this section between the others. So this is why I'm trying to set up this collaboration center in Barcelona, and this is why I believe so much in intellectual capital. So that's my personal, yeah, my personal point.
I need also protection of that. I think we have maybe some sort of regulation because it's too much of the opportunity.
Yes, when I was in Axio, I present a project because my boss told me you have to create a patent office. That's not a good idea. I was studying a lot about the smart city and so on and so on. I present a project that was, my point of view was really nice, that was how to be the capital of the world in intellectual capital. So that was my connected with technology, connected with the values that we have here in the environment, connected with the artists, with the art, with the creativity. So this before the creative. So now, oh my god, that's my opportunity. In the sense that I believe we have to protect all these things, but to use the technology as a key tool to do more. But this is my opinion.
Yes, that's why this conference was also centered on that, not only talking about projects are science technology, but also with an impact with why we are doing that. Because that's this is also was introduced by Eleonora and also later with the doctoral later with Dani. And now we could have a little demo of the installation if you want before you leave. Yes. In this way we have also
Creativity.
and later Alex could talk us about it.
No, they have to say no.
If you have some questions or whatever, I'm here. Here, so you can call me, you can email me, you can.
Of course.
Yeah.
We will do it.
Your email would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I have to say that
You don't have